to start Lamed Amid Aleph. We're holding Mayik bin Havinino Tefillah Katsara. It's 30a. It must be about 10 lines from the top. The last one on the line is My. My Gemara has a daf. Mayik bin Havinino Tefillah Katsara. What's the difference between the short prayer that we said a person says when he's going through a dangerous area and the shortened Shemona Esrei, which is Havineno? Two types of short prayers. What's the difference between the two? The Havineno we said was each blessing. We took like two words from each blessing and we condensed the whole Shemona Esrei. Tefillah Katsara we said was Tzarech Yamchi Yisrael Merubah Medaitim Katsara, etc. So it goes like this. Havinenu boy Mitzluya Gimel Kamaisa Gimel Basraisa. The Havinenu blessing, you have to say 3 blessings before you begin, which is Bais, Shlomo Avram, Chaim Mesim, and Menachem Kadosh. And then from Akhlachleinin until Shemir Tefillah, you condense it. Gimel Basraisa, and you have to say Ritzei, which is Avodah. No. So you have to say Haidah, you have to say Shalom. Say the 3 at the end. And when you get home, so you don't have to daven again. Why? Because you did quite a davening there. You did the 3 brachas before, the 3 after, and one full bracha in the middle of all the 11. You don't have to say 3 brachas before, 3 brachas after. When you get home, you have to daven again. Around 31, 38. I want to say 1. The Hilchas, this quote here is not in the comment, is not in the codifiers. Havinenu Mu'umed Tefillah Katsara Bein Mu'umed Bein Mahala. It says that the halacha in the Rosh, in the Rif, in the codifiers. The halacha is that Havinenu is said standing, and Tefillah Katsara is said standing and walking. Sounds like standing as opposed to moving. As opposed to moving. It's a little surprising. Taisvis asks, why doesn't the Gemara say the difference between Havinenu and Tefillah Katsara is that Tefillah Katsara, the small prayer, is said when you're in a time of danger, and Havinenu is not. That's on a regular day. So Taisvis explains what the Gemara's question was what is the difference between Havinenu on a regular day when you're saying Havinenu and Tefillah Katsara when you're in the time of, that difference was incorporated into the question. And then we just need those other differences. Alachamar, one's riding on a donkey. What did we say? That it comes the time, did we say he needs to go down? He goes down and he davens. But if he can't go down, then he just turns his face towards Yerushalayim. If he can't turn his face, so it turns his heart towards the Kodesh HaKadosh. Tana Rabbanan, we start in a Bais. If someone's on a donkey and it comes time for davening, if he has someone to hold the donkey, protect it, to guard it, shouldn't run away or whatever, stolen, so then he could go down and daven. But if not, you should sit in his place and you should daven. What do we do on a plane? Right. Do we stand up? We stand up in the Shemona Esrei.
If we can, if not,
yeah. Is it better to stand in a way like you're under the compartments, or is it better?
Depends if you have an aisle seat or window seat. If you have an aisle seat, you're in the Shemona Esrei and somebody's going to want to walk by, then you really got a problem. That's what I found. If I'm by the window, I could stand like that. That's just personal experience.
So we're going to see a little bit later what's going to happen over here. Here he's saying that the Gemara says if you're able to go down, you go down. If not, then you sit. You're able to sit. You see, on a donkey you can sit. No, the raya that you can sit for Menachem. Let's see. It's not so clear. Rabbi Yomi Benkach. Well, from here it's clear. Rabbi Yomi Benkach Yeshiv Kem Yispalo. Rabbi says that you should sit the whole time, whether you have someone to watch the donkey or not. Because you can't concentrate if you're going to have to go down. Rashi says, what's the problem? You won't be able to concentrate because you're on the road. You want to make time. You don't want to, when you go down, you're like worried about every rest area that you stop in, it delays your whole trip. So Rashi says, just daven while you're sitting, you can concentrate better, otherwise you're going to be rushed the whole time and worried about the delay of the trip. Rava, and some say Rabbi Shua ben Levi, there's a big gap over there. So strange. Say that the halacha is like Rabbi.
How does it say halacha k'Rabbi?
Halacha k'Rabbi.
There's a Rambam this week.
The halacha k'Rabbi mechavei rav. That's what it says. Mechavei rav. So why do we have to ask him? Why do you have to say the halacha is like Rabbi if the halacha is anyways like Rabbi? Tosfos says, even if he's walking, and he can daven while he's walking. That we didn't see. That we didn't see from the Gemara. No, the Gemara we say sitting on a donkey. Okay, Tana Rabbanan.
Well, Rochev Kemahalach, so if you say it's okay for Rochev, it should be okay for Mahalach.
So yeah, usually you say that the other way.
I know, but I'm trying to get out.
So, yeah. What happens if your yarmulke falls off and you're in the car? Rochev Kemahalach. So it means like
If it's not a convertible, the car covers
you. Traveling very quickly,
but are you?
Because relative to it, that's it. Well, he's saying that riding is like walking. That's a discussion in the Gemara in Kedushin. I don't remember where. Taner Rabbanan Sumo Mishen Yechol Lechaven Esaruches. A blind person or someone that can't tell the directions. So he concentrates his heart towards his Father in heaven. What's going to happen here is if you read this chapter in Menachem Aleph, there's many repetitions of the Hispalu al Hashem. Anyone that's going to daven this house, Shlomo Melech is talking about the Bais Hamikdash, the prayer should come through this house, the Bais Hamikdash. So one of them says, the Hispalu al Hashem, they'll daven to Hashem, means that even if they're not facing the Bais Hamikdash. If they're in the diaspora or outside the land of Israel, so then they face Chavanus Levi. Is that the Gersa? No. Tosfos takes out Levi. Tosfos takes out the word Levi, right? The idea is that you're supposed to face, not the Levi. Levi means you concentrate. So Yechaven Keneged Eretz Yisrael, that's what it's supposed to say. Shenemar Vespalo Elecha Derech Artzam, should daven towards this land. Probably again, it's supposed to pick it up. If you're in Eretz Yisrael, so you face towards Yerushalayim, Shenemar Vespalo Hashem Derech Yir, daven to Hashem towards the city. Asher B'charta that you chose.
Isn't it still in the story of the Summa?
Yeah.
So that's why it's got to be legal. Because when he was in Yerushalayim,
no, I see what you're saying. No. So Summa and Mishen Yechaven Liba Lechaven Esruchais. So that's you daven towards, you concentrate towards of the Aviv Shabbat Shemayim. That's V'Spalu al Hashem. That we quoted a pasuk.
The rest of the pasuk was Beis HaBechira, and it's really facing in Yerushalayim the Beis HaMikdash.
Yeah, but we're quoting only that part. That itself is enough.
Yeah, just call the part and leave it to it.
Then we have other cases here. He's in Chutz La'aretz. Derech Artzam. He's in Eretz Yisrael. says Derech Hayir Asher B'charta. Oimid B'Yushalayim Mechav Neslim B'Kneged Beis Hamikdash Nemer V'Spalu El Bais daven towards his house. Hayimid Beis Hamikdash, if he's in the temple itself, Yichaven Asliba Kneged Beis Kadshei Kodashim. He should face towards the temple. Nemer V'Spalu El Makom Hazeh, towards this place. Hayimid Beis Kadshei Kodashim Mechav Nesliba Kneged Beis HaKaparis. Should face towards the towards the Aron.
It's east, right? It's facing east.
I don't know. Wherever Kapiris, what's the Kapiris? The lid of the Aron? What does that mean? Kapiris is the lid on the Aron.
I think so.
So
He's
whichever way
in the
he's
Kodesh Kadoshim, he's facing this way.
facing probably west, no? Unless he's behind the Aron. Let's see the next one. Basic Kapiris. Here that's Mekila Fnei Kapiris. If he's behind the Kodesh HaKadoshim with the 11 Amos there, then he faces back towards he would do exactly what he would do if he would be in front of it.
Who's in the Kodesh Kadoshim except for
For the King of, yeah.
So his back to the Aron?
No,
He's
he
facing
faces
the
the Aron.
Aron.
Wherever he
He's
is, he
facing the
faces
Aron.
the Aron. So,
What about the people who were brought in with the box to clean?
oh, they would, if it would be the time for davening.
That's the case
what
on
they do.
all the sides. Because the kind brother, when he goes to read the prayers, he has that much one else.
No, but he says a prayer.
So,
So he says whatever. Right now, this whenever you say any prayer, should you be facing east? Is this specifically Shemoneh Esrei? I mean, we're talking about Shemoneh Esrei, but Shleima,
I thought
no,
davening
that's
didn't
start,
come
isn't it?
There was always some sort of davening, even with the base Hamikdash. Wasn't the prayers of our lips substitute the slaughter of bullocks?
Yeah,
Well,
there definitely was. There definitely was davening. The question is, in the Bais Hamikdash itself, would they be doing that? Yeah, they did davening in the Bais Hamikdash itself. We said we have that. They did davening.
who's inside the Kodesh Kadoshim and going east, west?
I don't know, unless
Only
it's the
those
Kohen
guys are
Gadol.
cleaning,
Oh, you say it's
Remember
the
they're in
cleaning
the box.
people.
the cleaning crew. Right.
Uh-huh.
Even when they're in the box, they have to face the.
Okay.
There's a sickle there about the cleaning crew.
Yeah.
How every Jew can go into the Kodesh Kadoshim and clean.
You know what this is? Where is it? I'll ask.
Famous
I'll ask.
Famous
Okay.
sickle,
So let's say he's
any Jew could go.
Lemizra, the Durham. Let's say he's on the south. Matzapanav L'Tzaf, and he faces north. L'Tzaf and Matzapanav L'Darim. He's in the north. He faces the south. He's in Africa. He faces north. He's up there in whatever it's about. What would be about? Russia, Finland.
Yeah, but they're a little finicky there.
What do you do if you're exactly on the opposite side, which is Hawaii? Exactly on the opposite side, then you can probably face either direction.
When we went to South Africa, I said my natural instinct was which way is east?
You don't do it.
You're going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Nimtu Kol Yisrael Mechavnem Aslim L'Makom Echad. It comes out that everyone is facing the same, the one place. Amar Rabavin V'Itema Rabavina. Rabavin, and some say Rabavina. Okay, that's the Itema that I can understand. Where the Itema, and some say that it's someone else because Rabavin or Rabavina is so close in the names. They're not sure who said it, so it's Mikra. What's the pasuk that shows that everyone's facing the same direction? Migdal David Savarecha, the Tower of David is your neck. Bani L'Talpias, it's built as a landmark, which is Tel Shekalpias. By the word Talpias, we divide to a tel, which is like a mound. Shekalpias, by that all mouths turn to it. Okay. Gemara now says, Avud the Shmuel the Levi. Shmuel's father and Levi.
Brothers?
No, this is on the top of this chart. We have Avud Shmuel, Shmuel's father, and Levi we have over here on the bottom of this chart. So they're friends, students of Rabbi.
Sounds like a brother Shmuel, maybe father Shmuel, maybe.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, the father of Shmuel and Levi. Those are two people are going on a trip. When they're going on the trip, they would wake up early and they would daven Shmoneh Esrei before they left. And then they would say the Shema in the time. Now, Rashi says, they would daven before the day. Tosfos thinks that Rashi says, they would daven Shmoneh Esrei before dawn. This has a big problem with that. How's it possible? Daven before dawn is nothing. So, Tosfos says no. They davened after dawn. It was before Netzachama. And they would say Shema. They changed the order of the prayer. That's clear. First they would say Shmoneh Esrei, and then they would recite the Shema in its time. But Rashi never said.
What do you mean? After they changed it, could be they did the whole davening and said Shema again.
It sounds like Matzli. They said Shmoneh Esrei, and when it came time for Shema, they recited the Shema. Come on, who does this go like? Ki Tana. It goes like the following Tana. The Tanya was taught in the Bais. Hishkim latzis l'derech. Someone wakes up early to go on the road. They bring him a shofar v'tekeya, and he blows it early in the morning. What type of trip can you take on Rosh Hashanah? I don't know, but you can't go too far unless there's no tchum issue. Lulav, he takes the lulav from Menachem and he waves it. Megillah v'kairiba, Megillah, and he reads it. He's reading it early, very early. And then when it comes time for Shema, what's the correct time for Shema? Well, we said Mishiyaker, when you can recognize the friend, or maybe Netzachama would be also a good time. Then he reads the Shema. Hishkim Leishav Bakaran. He wakes up early to go on a wagon, or on a boat. Mispal, he says Shmoneh Esrei first. She gives Mankriya Shema Kaira. So when it comes to time for the Shema, then he reads it then. So this first Tana is changing the order of the prayers because he's going on the trip. Reb Shimon ben Elazar says, Ben kach Kriya Shema Mispal. No, you say it in order. Say Kriya Shema and then you daven. So that
it's also early, or not?
It sounds like, at least Rashi says, that you wait for the time for Shema, and you do it the Shema and the time, and you say Shmoneh Esrei afterwards. Now we're going to see how is that possible. How come the first person couldn't do that? So it says like this. But my commitment, what's the machlekes? The first Tana in Reb Shimon ben Elazar. Mar Savar. One holds tefillah mu'umanadif. To stand while you're davening is more important, and so therefore you should say Shmoneh Esrei when you're at home standing, and then you'll miss out on putting the geula next to tefillah because you said Shmoneh Esrei before. Mar Savar mismach geula tefillah adif says it's better to have smichas geula tefillah, that the prayer should go in order than to stand. In other words, you're going to be on a wagon, you're going to need to say the Shmoneh Esrei sitting, but that's better. One second before I do that, this next Gemara. Tosfos says that the Bahag paskins like Reb Shimon ben Elazar. And Reb Shimon ben Elazar held that you do it in order. Mismach geula tefillah. You wait and you say Shmoneh Esrei sitting down. He says it's mashma. You can say it's while you're walking. You don't have to stop. Tosfos asks, 1 second. You go back earlier today, we started today the Gemara with the difference between Havinenu and Tefillah Ketzara. We said that Havinenu, you have to stand, but Tefillah Ketzara you can stay while you're walking. So Tosfos says, I don't get it. Havinenu, you have to stand. And Shmoneh Esrei you can say while you're walking. And Shemona Esrei, Havinenu is stricter than Shemona Esrei. So he says it could be that it is stricter because Havinenu is very short. So what were you worried about? Saying Shemona Esrei, it's that you're going to delay the trip. But Havinenu, you can just stop and stand for a moment and won't delay the trip if that's the concern. Then Tosfos adds in one point, which we're going to learn about in a moment, and he says that maybe you have to say Shemona Esrei again if you said Shemona Esrei sitting, which would mean that when we daven on the plane, sitting, when you get to a place where you can stand, you have to repeat Shemona Esrei standing. That's a very surprising concept, but Tosfos does say that. Tosfos does say that.
Zman might completely change.
Oh yeah, well if you missed the Zman, that would be a different story. But let's say you didn't miss the Zman, it's just later, it's still before 4 hours or whatever. It's a little surprising. No, that standing should be so significant that you should repeat the Shemona Esrei.
Oh, you mentioned this man. You repeating this man, or you're making tashlum after the next time?
Oh, I don't know about the Tashlumin for that.
Is it
I don't
Mishum
know.
Safek? Because it's Mishum Safek.
Yeah.
Isn't this D'Rabbanan? Then why should we repeat it?
Right. Right. It's just too surprising to us that we should have to repeat Shemona Esrei just because we didn't stand. Then he quotes, Tosfos quotes the Rabbeinu Chananel that paskins like Kavua de Shmuel and Levi, and they said Shemona Esrei earlier. They just changed the order. Yeah, before Nate, it's kind of the Tosfos that was careful. Okay, Mereimar or Marzutra have been Makanfi be'asar b'Shabbat derigla. Okay, there was a Shabbos before the holiday where there would be a big speech in the morning. So the way it would work is that when it would come time for Shema, individuals would sneak out and recite the Shema. Or in their place, they would recite the Shema. The only problem was the one giving the speech. So Marzutra and Mereimar, they were giving the speech. So they would gather together 10 people, and they would daven. And then they would go to give the speech. Pirka is the drasha. Now, it doesn't say that they said the Shema, but it means that they would say the Shema. Rashi adds that in. Okay, Rav Ashi Masli B'Hadi Tzipura B'Yachid L'Yoshem. Rav Ashi was the Rosh Hashiva in Masamachsia, and he would also give a drasha. And he wouldn't daven beforehand, like Mereimar and Marzutra. They woke up early. They had this whole prayer session before the drasha. Rav Ashi would daven during his own speech. He would give a lot of information to the Meturgaman, who would announce to everyone. And while he kept him busy, he would silently.
He didn't pay attention to it.
He would do his own davening, and he would say it sitting down. He didn't want to go out because if he's going to walk out, everyone's going to want to stand up as he walks out in and out. Right? So, here's where Tosfos gets it from, that you may have to say Shemona Esrei again if you said it sitting. When he would come home, he would daven again standing up. Now, when the Gemara said B'Hadi Tzibura, we explained it that together with the community, while everyone is there, he would just sneak in his prayer. Okay. Amrilei Rabbanan. The rabbi spoke to Rav Ashi about this. He said, "V'le'avid markim Mereimar Marzutra." He said, "Why don't you daven before the session, like Mereimar and Marzutra did?" Milsa says it's too hard for me. No, what's too hard? Rashi explains is not to wake up earlier. What's too hard was he didn't want to delay the session. Too hard for me to delay the session to later on in the day. He wanted to get started right away. So why don't you just say Shemona Esrei earlier, like Avu and Shmuel and Levi, and then at the time for Shema, you'll recite it then. I haven't seen my seniors behave like that they should do the Shemona Esrei before the Shema
What did you say? It's too hard. What?
to delay the study session.
The Rashi says yes. He says Trifli Mesa Lacha Beis Medrash Achis Polo. So he's saying delaying my tefillah.
No, to delay la'achar Beis Hamedrash, to delay the Beis Hamedrash study session until I daven.
I got it. Oh, okay. I got it first.
We're all waiting for you
I'm
right
reading
now.
it
We're
backwards.
all waiting for you right now.
Well,
Okay.
God, I was the example, so
I have
you
to add in the word
understand it.
until after I daven. I don't want to delay it until after I daven. That's the way you read
I
it.
understand
Add
that.
until after I daven. Okay. We have a question now. The yeshiva's traveling to New York, and we're going. We're going to be on the plane for the time for Shachar. So I suggested that we daven until Yishtabach. At 6:15, we can put on talis and tefillin. So at 6:15, we'll put on the tefillin. By Yishtabach. And then we'll say Shema Shemona Esrei with the tefillin on, and then we'll get on the plane, which is 7, whatever.
Does
So-
the lunch change while you're on the plane?
There's complications. I don't know. But, yeah, there is such a thing. But the other person that I work with for the siddur, it's like, no, I don't teach the Bachram these tricks, putting the tefillin on in the middle, and they should know just to start from Kabbanas, you do it in order. Okay, the Mishnah says Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Aimer. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, we had before all the stories about him. He says, "Ein tfilas musaf and ela b'chaver ir." Musaf you only say together with a community. Chaver ir. I don't know what the expression comes from, but it means a community, a group of the city. That's what it means. A group of the city. B'chacham ma'irim. B'cham say b'chaver v'shlei b'chaver. No, you say it whether there's a minyan or not. Now, the explanation for this is Musaf is not a private sacrifice, it's a community sacrifice. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says community sacrifice, the prayer of the community in replacement of the sacrifice is done with the community. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that's okay. Anywhere where there's a minyan, the yachid doesn't have to say it. Now, the Gemara is going to discuss what's exactly the two opinions here of what Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah holds. The first opinion said you only say it with a community. The second opinion says if there's a community, well, not the second opinion. The second opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Yehuda, says that the individual doesn't need to say it if there's a community. Rabbi Yehuda Haina Tanakama, the Gemara starts off saying that Rabbi Yehuda and Tanakama sound the same. Where it says it could be naya yachid shlei b'chaver ir. No, there's a difference. If you have an individual that doesn't have a minyan there, Tanakama savar pata. The Tanakama says the first opinion holds that the whole musaf is only a community sacrifice, so it's therefore the prayer is only said as a community. There's no minyan, no one says it. Rabbi Yehuda savar chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Rabbi Yehuda holds that the community says it for the individual. But if there is no community, then the individual needs to say it.
Who's the individual?
So if there's a minyan, I guess maybe it means the shliach tzibur. I don't know what he means.
It takes a village.
It means the shliach tzibur. Unless it means everyone in the minyan. I don't know. Amar Rab Huna bar Chinana, Amar Rab Chia bar Rav. Halacha Rabbi Yehuda Sham Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Well, it says the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda that says the community exempts the individual. Amar Rab Chia bar Ravin Shaper Kamer. Rab Chia bar Ravin says, yeah, it's correct what you're saying. Damar Shmuel says Miyamei le Matzlina Tzleis the Musafim biyachid. I've never said it, the Musaf, as an individual, except never say never, right? In the city of Narda. Labarmiyahu Yaima, except for what that day, Yosipumusa de Malka, the Masa, Vachir Rabbanan Salu. This army came, this may have been when Narda was destroyed. And that's when the yeshiva started in Pumbedisa. So the rabbis were, or the yeshiva was disrupted because of this army that came in, and they didn't pray. But so I davened alone. And I was an individual that wasn't together with the community. Okay, let's see. Yosef Rav Chanina Kra Kamid Rav Yanai. Rav Chanina Kra, that meant he was a expert in verses in scripture. Kra, as in like Mikra, Balkaira. So he's sitting in front of Rav Yanai. Yosef is sitting and he says, Halacha Rabbi Yehuda Sham Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. The halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, like we said before, that says that Musaf is only said as a community, and Musaf is said in a community, the individual doesn't need to say it.
People make kiddush sometimes.
That's the explanation. I hear. No, actually, we had yesterday. We discussed the Kiddush Club yesterday with Rav Huna. Okay, so here it says, Amalei, listen to what he tells him. Puk, kra, karach, lebra. Go recite your verses outside. Sort of an insult passage. That says, basically, you're wrong. The halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda that says in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah that says the individual is exempt by the community. Rather, the halacha is like the Rabbanan, which says that everyone has to say Musaf. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, Anira Isias Rabbi Yanai. I saw Rabbi Yanai, that's a teacher of Rabbi Yochanan. This is interesting. If you look at the chart, Rabbi Yanai is right above Yochanan there. Rabbi Yanai is very significant in the Talmud Yerushalmi. The Bavli is quoted, but he says, I saw Rabbi Yanai, the Tzali v'had Tzali. He davened and then he davened again.
Is this the Yanai who looked out at the end?
No, that was much earlier. That was during the Second Temple. So what Rabbi Yochanan means to say is that he said Shabbos and then he davened Musaf. Obviously, individuals are reciting Musaf. Amalei Rabbi Yirmiyah le Rabbi Zera. So Rabbi Yirmiyah tells to Rabbi Zera, "V'dilma mi karle kivin daite lebasef kivin daite." Maybe he didn't concentrate the first time. That's why he was saying again. How do you know what he was saying? Yeah, 2 shachars, right? When it says Amalei, he says Chaziman Gaber Rabba the Kamasada. No, you have to see who's saying it over. If Yochanan saying it over, there would have been no teaching if it's just because he had to daven twice. What's the halacha teaching? No, it must be telling me an important halacha that an individual davens musaf as well. Rabami v'Rabasi, Afagav Davili Kleser Beknishta Bitferia. Rabami and Rabasi, now we're a generation under Rabbi Yochanan. Right here, Rabami and Rabasi. They, even though there were 13 shuls in Tveria, they would pray between the pillars where they would study. We had this Gemara before earlier. Itmar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Rabimi Mishum Rabbeinu. Rabbi Yitzchak bar Rabimi says in the name of Rav, Rabbeinu here means Rav. Amar, he says, Halacha Rabbi Yehuda Sham Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. Rab Chia bar Abba Tzali v'had Tzali. Rab Chia bar Abba was this famous student of Rabbi Yochanan. He's directly under Rabbi Yochanan on our charts. He davened and he would daven again. Amalei Rab Zera, my time Avid Marachi. Why are you davening a second time? Eily Mishum like Kivin Mardaite. Is it because he didn't concentrate? Amar Rabbi Elazar says, what do you have, Rabbi Elazar? What does it say? I have an abbreviation. Rabbi Elazar or Eliezer? Eliezer, that's better. Rabbi Eliezer says, the Tana. Person should estimate in himself. Would he be able to concentrate? Then he should daven. If he sees that today's not a good concentration day, all these scholars don't daven that day. So is that the reason why you're davening a second time because you didn't concentrate? You should have followed Rabbi Elazar's opinion that says don't daven on a day that you can't concentrate. It must be that you forgot if it was Rosh Chodesh. But Tanya Baruch taught in a Bais, Look at this pricing. It's very surprising. If someone forgot to say Yalav Yavai by Ma'ariv, Ein Machzir say he doesn't go back. Because he'll say it in Shachris. You ever heard of this? 1 second. No, wait for that. I'll explain that in a moment. No, it's not. It's close to it, but there's one detail that's off. The detail that's off is we're going to see at the end of the Gemara that if you miss Yalav Yavai and Ma'ariv, so you don't say it in Shachar because there's no testimony at night. Not because you're going to say it in the morning. It's a different reason. Because of this issue, look at Taisvis. Legar Sinanli. Taisvis says, take out that first piece of this. Tanya, you see Tanya Taisvis? Moon at night. We'll see in a moment. You'll see it gets a little more surprising. B'shachris, let's say he forgets the Yalav Yavai in the morning. Ein machzir nisa. You don't repeat Shemon Esrei because you can say it in Musaf. You don't say Yalav Yavai Musaf, but it means you recite Musaf. We don't do this. We repeat the Shemon Esrei. The Musafin, if someone forgets Yalav Yavai and Musaf, Rashi over here explains, what do you mean Yalav Yavai and Musaf? You don't say Yalav Yavai and Musaf. And what's he saying Musaf for if it's not Rosh Chodesh? The Rashi over here says, no. When it says Musaf means he just says a regular Shemon Esrei. He says at the Chaynan, he says a regular Shemon Esrei. That's the Ein Machzir Nesei, he doesn't repeat him. Because I'll say it by Mincha. So why are you repeating Shemon Esrei? He's asking him. Amalei Lavitmar Allah, he says, was that Brisa not referring to Rabbi Yochanan, that Rabbi Yochanan says, that was said in a community. Okay, so what does this mean? The simple explanation is like this, that there's a combination of a person forgetting Yalav Yavai, and he'll be able to listen to the Chazan, repeat the Shemon Esrei, plus himself will be reciting it in the next prayer. That combination allows him that he doesn't have to repeat the Shemon Esrei. That's one interpretation of this. The other interpretation is that we're referring to the Chazan himself. That if a Chazan doesn't, if the Shliach Tzibur forgets Yalav Yavai, then so because he's going to repeat it anyway, as the Chazan. So that combination of him repeating it as the Chazan, in that he's going to say it privately again in the next prayer, so that's good enough. That's how we would understand this Brisa. Okay.
So that would mean if he said it at home, he said more alone at home, and left out Yalav Yavai.
Right. So
that.
Well, we're going to see in a minute that Ma'ariv isn't going to work. Let's say Shachris. Let's say he forgets Shachris at home. So then he does have to repeat the Shemon Esrei. And that's the halacha, that he does have to repeat the Shemon Esrei. Okay, Kama Yisha. How much should the person wait if he has to repeat the Shemon Esrei between one Shemon Esrei and the next? Rav Huna v'Rav Chizda, it's a machlekes. Chadam Kadesha Techainen, it's actually not a machlekes, it's just a different expression. Kadesha Techainen daite alav. Enough that he should be able to have his mind be reset for supplications. What does it mean techaylo? It means also for prayer, I think. That his mind should be reset for prayer. Why the one that says cleaning, he says because he quotes a pasuk, that means prayer, supplication. One that used the other expression, that chaylel, whatever it is, it's enough time to reset himself to pray, which the commentaries say is the amount of time it takes to walk 4 amos. You see that in the Taisvis? the Parish B'Yishalmi. So you don't like take 3 steps back and then go straight ahead forward and recite Shemona Esrei a second time. You have to wait, pause for the amount of time it takes to walk 4 cubits. It's about 6 feet. Amar Rav Anan Amar Rav. Rav Anan says the name of Rav. Ta, could be his son-in-law. I think it was Rav Anan Barava. I'm not sure. It says Ta v'leihiska shalosh chedesh arvis. If someone forgets Yala B'Yavi and Ma'ariv, ein machzir nase, he doesn't repeat. Because the sanctification of the new month is only done by day. Amar Ameimar Mistabim El Sederav B'Chodesh Malay. Ameimar says, 1 second. If it's a 30-day month, that means that you have 2 days Rosh Chodesh, and the first day doesn't really count. So I can understand, because it's not the first of the month anyway, it's the 30th of the previous month. So I can understand what the Rabbi is saying. But if it's a 29-day month, Rosh Chodesh is only 1 day on the first of the new month. So Machzirun, I say that he should repeat, because that's very significant. So Amar Lei Ravashi La Meimar, Ravashi says to Meimar Michti. 1 second. Rav Taimakama. Rav gave a reason for what he's saying, which is that you don't, Bezdin isn't Makadosh the Chodesh at night. Mali Chasam Mali Mali, what's the difference how many days Rosh Chodesh is? Bezdin doesn't sit at night. What's the difference? Ela Leishna, there's no difference. Whether it's a 1 day Rosh Chodesh or 2 days Rosh Chodesh, you do not repeat the Shemona Esrei Yalav Yavi at night. Okay. Hadron Lach Til Sashacha Bli Neder. Let's go further. Einem Dim L'Spalo, let me take Kovid Reish. You don't stand to pray unless you have reverence. Kovid Reish is like a heavy head, but it means referring to proper frame of mind, reverence. Siddur. No. Achna, Rashi says, like submission. So you have to have a head covering anyway, but that's not what this means. Early Chassidim would wait 1 hour. They would wait 1 hour and then they would daven. Rashi says they would come to Shul and they would wait there. It doesn't mean that they would come an hour late.
Doesn't it say that the whole davening time is like 6 hours or 9 hours or something?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to learn 3 hours before.
Yeah, there's an expression about that. But they would spend so many hours davening because they would wait an hour before, then they would daven for an hour, and then an hour afterwards. So the whole day went by. How would they learn? That's what the Gemara says, that their learning was blessed. They would get in a lot. So there were 2 versions of that.
Tefillin and davening is two separate things.
I think they wore the tefillin most of the day anyway. So we're just talking about, we say davening and they're referring to Shemona Esrei. Probably our preparatory prayers, Psukkah Zimmer and all of that would be included in that hour. So
Weren't they learning in that hour, like learning Hasidus before that?
probably
They
they were waiting for the
They weren't sitting idle.
Okay. So why would they do this? So that they should have the right intention. In the middle of Shemona Esrei, even if the king asks you, greets you, good morning or whatever, don't respond. Even if there's a snake wrapped around his heel, you don't stop. Talking about a snake that's not life-threatening. Where do we know this from? Amar Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar says, where do we know that you need to have the right frame of mind? Amar Kra. Pasuk says, V'himaras nefesh. Chana, when she prayed, she didn't have children. She was bitter. So we're comparing here bitter to being to having reverence. It means serious. Mimai, how do you know that that's a rule for everyone? Dilma Chana Shani. Maybe Chana was different. Davas Mirali Batuva. She was bitter. Doesn't mean that everyone has to be like that. Amalei Rabbi Yosi Bar Bechanina. Rabbi Yosi Bar Bechanina says Mihacha. Yosi Bar Bechanina is a student of Rabbi Yochanan. It's down here. Pretty common. He says from the following pasuk. And I, with your abundant kindness, I come to your house. I bow to your holy chamber in your fear, in fear of you. Okay, you see, with fear, that means that's how a person's supposed to daven. Maybe David was different because he was asking for a lot of compassion and he was suffering. Elam Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Mehachar. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says another source. Bow down to God with his holy splendor. Al tikri bahadras kodesh, ela bechardas, becharadas. Becharadas. Harada means trembling. Oh, right. Is that what it says?
No, it says Vayago.
So the charada is to tremble or to be in awe. So we're changing the word hadras to charada. This would be in the Russians would find this easy. How are you? You know, so this is easy. Mimai, how do you know that this is how it is? That this is what you're supposed to do? Maybe it's supposed to be hadras. Rav Yehuda. So we say like this: Rav Yehuda have a mitzayin nafshei v'hadamatzli. He would hadras means to splendor. He would put on his nicest clothing before he davened to daven.
It's headdress.
Okay. So, see, we put on proper clothing, proper attire for davening. You know, like wear shorts or something. But in the yeshivas, they wear a hat and jacket. But in some places, they adjust the tie. You know, you daven, you tighten the tie. That's what you do before you enter into a meeting. You know, they fix it. Someone told me by Rav Moshe before he would daven Ma'ariv, you know, adjust the tie. Okay. Ella. So where do we know that it's out of fear? Ella Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Mehacha from the following: Yivdu es Hashem b'yira. You serve Hashem with fear. Yivdu means davening. Begila barada, and you rejoice with trembling. Oh, we finished the pasuk. What is this? My begila barada. What does it mean? You rejoice with trembling. The simple explanation that Tosfos says up on top on the following page is that the simple pshat over here is that if you serve Hashem with fear, then when it comes the time of trembling, you'll be happy because you did everything correct. When everyone else is trembling, you'll be begila barada at the time of. But here it's my begila barada. What does it mean? You rejoice with trembling. Amar Avada bar Masna, Amar Rabba, a Rab is supposed to be the Makam Gila Shamte Ra'ada. At the time of rejoicing, you're supposed to have fear as well. Abaya, Rabbi Yosef Kamei the Rabba. Abaya was sitting in front of Rabba. He sees that he's very happy. Amar, he says, Begila Barada, where's your trembling? Begila Barada Ksiv. Amalei Ana Man Tfilin Manach Naib. I'm wearing tefillin, so I'm okay. Rabbi Yirmi Rabbi Yosef Kamei the Reb Zera. Rabbi Yirmi must be in front of Reb Zera. Chazid Rabbi Kabbalah Chtuva. This is so surprising. Zera never smiled. What's the pshat? What's the pshat?
Said all the questions to make him laugh.
Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe Reb Zera is going to do to it. It sounds strange. Out of depression comes better, more things. It comes abundance. I'm wearing tefillin. Marbrei de Ravina, Abdi Lul Lebrei. Marbrei de Ravina made a wedding for his son. Chazinu l'Rabbanan to have a kabad chituv. He sees the rabbis are rejoicing very much. It's getting a little out of hand. Aisi kisa de Maikra Basar Ba Meizuzi v'Tavar Kamayo Batzivu takes a very expensive cup that cost 400 coins, and he breaks it in front of them. Everyone gets shocked. They get all depressed. A crystal. Ravashi Abdi Lula Lebrei. Ravashi made a wedding for his son. He sees that they're rejoicing too much. There's a guy, a white glass. He breaks it. He breaks in front of them at Tzivu. And everyone gets depressed. Okay, let's stop right there. But Tosfos over here says this is where the minhag of breaking a glass at a wedding comes from. People shouldn't get rejoiced too much. Interesting, right? We always hear Meshkachei Shalayim and all of that, but that's not from Tosfos. There are other sources for that, but this is okay.
Thank
you.